Today, I'd like to talk to you about sensitive periods. And these are a naturally occurring, spontaneous phenomenon in the development of our children from the age of birth through the age of 6. Now, what they do is that they cause the child to have a very keen interest in very specific elements of the environment or very specific activities. And the reason for this is that developmentally, this is a skill or an experience that the child needs to have as part of the foundations that they're building in self-construction. So very important. Now, sensitive periods are working alongside that beautiful absorbent mind that this child also has. So two very powerful tools in the development of the child. Now, sensitive periods can be very easily enriched with not a whole lot of effort in the home. And today I want to talk to you about ways that you can offer some additional enrichment for each of the sensitive periods that your child is going to be passing through. Dr. Montessori identified 4 broad sensitive periods. She saw that there was a sensitive period for language, for movement, for order, and then for refinement of the sensory perceptions or refinement of the senses. So let's start with language. This sensitive period lasts from birth to the age of 6 because it really is the most complex. The child is acquiring language and then creating language, which is unique to human beings. Now, this is an easily supported sensitive period just by first engaging in conversation with your child. I know you're probably already having conversations with the child, but make sure you're down on their level. You're making eye contact if that's culturally appropriate for your family, that you're listening to what the child is saying, and then you're responding. It needs to be a two-sided conversation, 2 participants. Now, what this is doing is this is giving the child practice in communicating. It's building confidence in communicating. And the only way to do this is to have conversations. Another support that you can integrate are telling true stories. True stories from when you were a child. Stories of adventures that you went on. It could even be a true story about your day. You're going to include some colorful details and try to add some new vocabulary. The child is listening to you tell these true stories, and they're getting a little bit of a glimpse of getting to know you better, but they're also hearing a sequence of events in storytelling. They're also getting new vocabulary. And what you'll find is the more that you tell stories to your child, the more stories that they're going to start to tell you. This child, from the years of 0 to 6, has this insatiable thirst for words. They are building their vocabulary at an incredible rate. So whatever new vocabulary you can give them, the better. And don't be concerned if you feel that the word is too difficult. Give them difficult words because they've got the absorbent mind and they have this sensitive period that is making language acquisition effortless, literally effortless. Now, after the age of 6, both of these gifts go away and learning complex vocabulary words becomes more challenging. So give the child words, give them complex words. That first 6 years of the life is the very best time to do it. Something that's fun is called the question game. This would be perfect. Your child comes up to you, for example, and says, "I found a bug." No problem. This is a great time for question game. You're going to engage in a series of questions. The who, what, when, where, and why. And your child's going to be giving you more and more information than they had originally given you. So they say, "I found a bug." You say, "Where did you find the bug? What did it look like?" Okay, so you're going to go back and forth asking questions and getting answers. Now, when the child has told you all that they have to tell you, then you're going to paraphrase and retell this event to them. not only is the child going to know that you were listening to what they were saying, but you are sequencing an event for them. You are putting it all back together for their ear to hear. And this is very, very important when we're talking about a child who is learning how to effectively communicate. Now, the next sensitive period is that for movement, and it lasts from birth to around 4.5. When we talk about movement, there are two types of movement that human beings develop. We develop this large gross motor movement, this balance for locomotion, for walking. And then we have fine motor movement, which refers to our hands. Let's talk about the fine motor, the refinement of the hand. You can offer bead stringing to the child, some basic sewing or stitching, and then there's sorting. Children love to sort, but it's also great practice for their manual dexterity, the coordination of the hand and of the fingers. Then we have gross motor, that large motor movement, and that's running and skipping and jumping and spinning. Those are all very large motor movements. Dr. Montessori realized that a child has to observe movement before they can create movement. So just allowing your child to move freely is great, but it's even better if you can move with them, dance with them, play outside with them, jump rope. You can play a game where you move like different animals. They're watching you, and it's through your movements you're going to see them mimic some of the things that you do. Your movements are inspiring the movements that they're creating, and this is very important during this sensitive period. Then we have a sensitive period for order, and this sensitive period lasts from about birth to, again, 4.5. There are a couple very easy ways to support this specific sensitive period, and the first is the external environment around the child. Making sure that things are nice and neat, that everything has a place, so that when maybe your child takes something off of the shelf or the table, they know where to return it to. And it's great for the child to have a little area of their own, maybe with their arts and crafts, or a shelf with their toys that they can manage and take care of. This is perfect for a 3-year-old. This is something that they absolutely can do. Another element to this sense of order is the routines that you plan and schedule in your day. The more consistent and steady your routines, the better for supporting this sense of order. When we have consistent routines that don't change, we take the unpredictability out of the child's day, and they can start to understand what comes next. This is a very safe feeling for the child, but it's also supporting this sensitive period. And last, we have refinement of the senses. And this one you can really have a lot of fun with. Think about all of our senses. We have sight, touch, hearing, smell, taste. We can do something with the children for all of those. I like to go on sensory walks. So you can do a sensory walk just focusing on touch. Go on a walk and feel the bark of trees and the textures of different leaves. How does the concrete feel? How does the asphalt feel? It's very different. Find things that feel soft or things that feel rough. There are so many textures out in the world, and all of that information, all of that stimulus is helping the child build their intelligence. You can also do a bit of a sensory walk with the bare feet. Different surfaces conduct temperature differently. So not only do they feel different under our feet with the texture, but they also feel different with temperature. So ceramic tile is much cooler than, let's say, a wood floor or a concrete patio. The concrete patio is going to be warmer than the grass. It's going to feel different under the feet. Children can explore these textures. Take your spices out, maybe just a couple. 3 is a good number. Too many and you're going to overwhelm the senses. But take out a few, have the child take a sniff of that spice, and then talk about, what do you use that spice to cook in? Maybe there's a certain time of year that you use that kind of spice. When I think of the spice nutmeg and cinnamon, it always takes me to the winter time. So have these conversations with the child. Let them smell what you're cooking with. And then we have taste. We want to expand the palate of the child. And so just offering new flavors, offering new beverages, whether they try them or not. I had a picky eater at home, and I know there was a lot that she wouldn't try, but it was there. And if they see us trying them, they're more likely to try them themselves, if not then later on. Music. Music is so beneficial to the mind. Please play music for your child. And it doesn't have to just be classical music, although we know it's great. Play them some R&B, play them some rock and roll. Give them a variety of different music to listen to. Music is very mathematical, and those sequences within the rhythms are very, very good for the mind. So you see, there's a lot that you can offer just by thinking about those senses, and I'm sure that you can get quite creative in getting a little extra activity to your child just to enrich that sensitive period.